Kanha, what we saw and how we saw it. Hi, we're Chrissy and Gary, and in February 2024 we travelled to the Kanha National Park in our attempt to find tigers in the wild. We flew from London via Doha to Nagpur, which is the closest international airport to Kanha, although it's still a 6-hour drive to the Mukki Gate. We stayed at the Kanha Jungle Camp, who arranged most of the safaris for us, but more of that later. From the jungle camp, it was a 20-minute drive through beautiful rural villages and countryside. At the gate, it's first come, first served, and although it looks like chaos, it is well ordered. Permits for entry are organised months in advance, and then the guide's allocated at the gate. And this guy, the Big Cheese, makes sure your paperwork's in order, and off you go. Although it seems like you're going to spend your safari in the dust of a line of jeeps, it isn't long before they all take different routes and go to different zones and disperse. And the next thing you know, you've got some prime Indian jungle all to yourselves. So how do they find tigers? Well, it's all about the alarm call. In this case, a barking deer. If you're very lucky. Looks serene, doesn't it? But let's just rewind that.
मैं ले नहीं पाई यार।
अब क्या करेंगे? वो बच्चा है वहीं। कब से कब आवाज नहीं ना।
It was time for breakfast and to reflect on that circus. Are all our tiger sightings going to be like that? Multiple jeeps jockeying for the best view, people shouting, babies crying. If you think you're going to get these animals to yourself, you might want to manage your expectations. But it isn't always like that, as we were about to find out. The tigers we had seen in the morning were DJ and her 2 cubs, who hadn't been named yet because they're too young. Not long after breakfast, we were treated to an extended and calm sighting of the 2 youngsters. But they still look like pretty large tigers to us. We were advised that these 2 won't get named until they leave their mother and set up their own territories, probably in year 3. The beauty of young animals, even tigers, is that they always seem to take a real interest in the world around them. And then of course there's always that sibling rivalry. One of the cubs was a male and the other a female, and you can see here the difference in size, with the male being slightly larger. It was, however, the female that was to provide us with the entertainment over the next few minutes. The nearby spotted deer weren't too happy, as you can hear from the alarm call. One thing we didn't expect to see was a tree climbing tiger, although this apparently has become her speciality. Getting up may have been easy, getting down a little less graceful. DJ and her cubs seem to be doing the heavy lifting in the Mukki Zone and seem to be a regular sighting. However, for the last 2 days of our visit they disappeared, and in fact no tigers were seen in this area of the park. But it's not all tigers. Kanha has some wonderful bird life. So what is the Mukki Zone, I hear you ask? Well, Kanha is divided into 4 zones which can be visited by tourists. These are the Mukki Zone, the Kanha Zone, the Kisli Zone and the Sahi Zone. And they are accessed by 3 main gates, the Sahi Gate, the Katia Gate and the Mukki Gate. Zones are requested on the application and allocated accordingly. As we were staying near the Mukki Gate, 5 of our 6 drives were carried out in the Mukki Zone, which is considered to be excellent for tigers. On Wednesday afternoons, the main park is closed, but you can visit the buffer zones. So on our Wednesday we entered via the Kappa Gate. The jungle in the buffer zones is dense, and that makes wildlife spotting very tricky. However, a barking deer gave away the presence of this beauty, but you can see how difficult the photography was. The following morning it was back to the Mukki Gate for the 6:30 entry. And although the jungle camps provide hot water bottles and blankets, do wrap up. It is chilly. But the mist on the meadows makes getting up early so worth it. Not wanting to join the tiger circus again, we decided to concentrate on peacocks. Although we were slightly too early in the year to see them in full display mode. And then Lady Luck smiles on you. Although this guy looks huge, he's actually only a 2-year-old sub-adult. One of 2 brothers that are regularly seen. They're yet to have territories and hence be named, but they're obviously looking, although we were told that this is the territory of a much larger male. This looks an idyllic scene, doesn't it? With the tiger ambling across the meadows towards a herd of spotted deer. But let's have a listen. Yes, that's your lot as a tiger, constantly hounded by the noisy neighbours. Next, we stumbled on a changeable hawk eagle enjoying his lunch. And then the cutest spotted owlets. You need to be out of the reserve by 11:30, so then it was back to the jungle camp to relax, freshen up and have some lunch. We were then back into the Mukki zone for 3 o'clock. The presence of 4 or 5 jeeps on the track alerted us to the presence of another tiger. It was in fact our friend from the morning, but this time we were not going to get him to ourselves. Indeed, as more and more jeeps arrived, they seemed to test his patience, and very soon he was off. And then it was back to the circus. He's crossed the road there somewhere. Time to leave this chaos and go and look for something else, which in this case was a pale morph changeable hawk eagle, enjoying what we think was an egret supper. And then, who doesn't like langur monkeys? So another successful tiger day. Then it was back to the jungle camp to review our photographs and enjoy some more delicious curry. Day 3, and another chilly, bright, misty but beautiful morning. We found some barasingha in the mist, an animal that you can only see in the wild in Kanha, where it's been brought back from the brink of extinction. Today we were to visit the Kanha meadows, which was a bit of a drive, but it was nice to see these jackal along the way. The Kanha meadows were more open than the Mukki zone, but no less beautiful, and we soon got word of a tiger in the area. And there she was, a 4-year-old female called Mohini. She was quite some distance away and difficult to video. Our guide was confident that she would cross the track as she appeared to be patrolling her territory, but everybody else seemed to have the same idea. And they were correct. But would we be in the right place? Not this time.
Right place.
37 नीचे बैठो यार.
If tiger sightings are road crossings, they can be brief, and if you're not in the right place, they can be a little disappointing. But we hadn't finished with Mohini as we watched her disappear into the undergrowth. Next, it was off to enjoy some plum-headed parakeets that were feeding in the grasses. A bit distant, but you get the idea. A closed road meant we had to retrace our steps, and what luck. It was Mohini again continuing with her rounds, but this time, no circus, no jeeps, just us and a beautiful tiger. And off she walked to the sound of the langur monkey alarm calls, and that was to be our last tiger sighting of the trip. We hadn't paid the spotted deer much attention, but they are beautiful. And then it was a farewell to Kanha by watching some barasingers do what swamp deer do, holding their breath and eating weed. As we drove back to the jungle camp for the last time, we reflected on a successful trip. Some beautiful wildlife and some great tiger sightings. Indeed, we were lucky. We met people who'd been on 7 drives and hadn't seen a tiger.
Welcome to Kanha National Park.
Thank you, Chitali and Supriya, who were our excellent guides during our trip. We couldn't leave this report without mentioning the excellent Kanha Jungle Camp. The facilities are excellent, even if it was a bit too chilly to use the pool. The food was plentiful and tasty, and we really enjoyed our semi-elevated cottage, which gave great bird watching from the balcony. They organised all of our transfers and safaris for us, and Saurabh runs a really tight ship. Thanks once again, Jungle Camps.